focus in on calendars or times or numbers and dates. But at any rate, yeah, I had certain expectations of the influx of spiritual energy of that time frame regarding the trip itself and then the weekend after. But that was okay for me, and I had no over or under expectations at all. And I didn't really have very many preconceived ideas whatsoever. In other words, regarding my participation in that time frame, as well as the participation of all of you people, or all of we people, I could have been anywhere and still felt fully comfortable that I was an integral part of not only our group or the group, but other groups, and the biggest group of all, meaning the human condition. It was everybody on the Big Blue Marble. And in other words, let me put it this way, it was not necessary for me to go prior to leaving on the trip. Now, as things developed extremely synchronistically, and the fortune that I was able to go, and especially I have to focus in, I can't help it, on Elaine's ability to go.
Right.
I mean, that was just...
Talk about attitudinal changes.
Again, videotape.
Right.
You know, if we could have on this videotape, I mean, just followed, no dialogue at all, just followed and shown physically, visually, shown Elaine a week before the Sedona trip, and then this day, no matter what's happening in her life right now, in other words, the fact that she's in a chaotic state of losing her job, which should be devastating for most people, especially an Elaine Sawyer, being, that's such a priority in her life, and that it represents her self-esteem, her self-worth, where many people are luckier saying, well, this is simply employment for the money to be who I am, to enhance the person that I am. With Elaine, it's more of a representation of it. It's such...
her just sense of being at peace and knowing that if one door closes, another will open, and she'll be where she needs to be.
And for the first time in her life.
Yeah.
For the first time in her life. Did I do that? No way. Did you do that? No way. Did the priesthood do that? No way. Did Sedona do that? No way. It was magical there. Right, but collectively, every single one of those things, persons, places, and time frame, did do that. But does that take away from Elaine's ability to simply have, on her own, an attitudinal change? It doesn't deny it at all. It only enhances it. Yes, it was a result of all of that, but it was equally, and at the same time, Elaine's ability to intuitively, magically, manipulatively, or just, gee, it's damn time I change my attitude. In other words, it all took place, and it's a remarkable measurement. I mean, for those of you people who have known Elaine before, especially visually, I mean, I've had 5 neighbors since we've gotten back ask Elaine, gee, Elaine, is something wrong? It's funny how you ask somebody, you see a change, and say, something wrong? One person asked and said, no, why? She said, well, I've just noticed that you haven't been doing the things that you normally do. And then in a long dialogue it was, well, you normally scurry around and demand of yourself to get the piece of paper out on the lawn with her fanatical cleaning, and that she's walking a little slower nowadays. And of course we can laugh at that because we know her. But I mean, these are such positive changes. And no, it didn't require the plane trip, but my God, the plane trip was so perfect. The magic that took place there, and I mean, I use that word very carefully. I don't usually use that word, but it was magical. And the many people who were on that trip and so on, and have come back to face additional chaos and judgmental situations and so on, bear with that for right now. I mean, it's almost impossible to have major positive change without a degree of chaos. Because the change itself might be chaotic, or in a form of chaos, or you may be experiencing chaos inside yourself without understanding any of it. In other words, gee, I just feel strange or different or uneasy or insecure or something like this, and it's that you're going through a stepping stone or making a major breakthrough. and that the end result will almost for sure be much more positive in nature and much more assuredly or secure or definite. And a lot of people, and as of this taping, a lot of people are in a chaotic state and questioning, even was it worth it for me to go on this trip? And, trust my judgment that I can't think. I'm zeroing in on 104 people plus a couple people that showed up magically and synchronistically. Starts with an S? What was the Indian woman's name?
Oh, Sakina.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I mean, she didn't plan to go on the Sedona trip.
Right, right.
And I mean, was she the 105th person? Sure. And in other words, I'm focusing on 105 or more people, a few more, that have been affected by or participated in the trip. And for all of those people, I cannot think of, gee, it's too bad about, Miss, Mrs., or Mr. anybody.
Yeah.
And I would say it's a shame about that. I can't see that it's a shame regarding anybody, even though right now, in fact, even viewing this tape, that they might be saying, yeah, but since I got back, I've...
Yeah, but what's interesting is if you can remain centered in chaos, then that's the test.
Major stepping stone, sure.
Yeah. It's easy to stay centered when everything's going well.
Several years ago, without knowing ahead of time, several years ago, and I know I've talked about this before, but it's a perfect example of a manipulative attitudinal change, a demand of myself on Tom Sawyer's attitudinal change, and my general attitude at the time that I am Tom Sawyer in this way, and then knowing and spiritually knowing that my attitude has got to be tried. In other words, this new attitude has got to be tested or tried or proven, if you will. And it was the time where I turned and looked into the eyes of that man that was about to rape a little girl. And I was able to love that man. That's a perfect example in a way, and it's chaotic in my life to this day. In other words, the emotions involved are for the compassion for the spirituality of the whole scenario, my spirituality, my attitudinal changes that were proven that day. It's so multifold that I still get teary-eyed and so on regarding it, but that day, an hour before that time, 1 hour before, I was a Tom Sawyer who justifiably would have grabbed a hold of with my hand and possibly killed that man for who he was. And I'm saying justifiably so. In other words, morally and even to a degree legally, I could have manipulated that and killed that man in the participation of a rape of a little girl and been vindicated legally, morally, and I would have been a hero. And it didn't turn out that way. It was a very, very synchronistic event in my life, and that thank God for me and thank God for God that I was able to take the little girl's hand and just turn and look into that man's eyes. Now, I don't want to, and I don't think I will ever give too many more details about afterwards regarding other individuals, meaning that man and that little girl. But I just want to kind of throw out the effect of my attitude at that, my newly forced attitude at that moment, and what did my new attitude at that instant have to do with and within that man. Because that man was just a short distance away, and he was also looking straight into my eyes. And what did he experience? Did he know that I knew who he was? Probably not. But what effect, if any, did my eyesight and my being and my attitude have on that man? And it's not up to me to ever give either my opinion or something that I might know spiritually or intuitively or